My father was a fisherman by trade. When I was a little girl, I remember going on his boat and sailing across the ocean right before dawn to cast our nets. He was an incredible fisherman, but even more incredible as a father. My mother passed when I was 3 due to a nasty case of the barrel fever, and he took care of me by himself ever since. I still remember him stoking the fire with a rusty poker with one hand as he cradled me in the other, telling me all sorts of seafaring adventures as I drifted to sleep. I remember his strong calloused hands tucking me into bed and the scent of salt that lingered on my face as he crouched to give me a kiss on the cheek. When I turned 9, he gave me a brand new fishing rod as a birthday gift. On his off days, we would often visit the docks and spend hours laughing and reeling tiny mackerels only to release them back into the water. I loved my father more than anything in the world. But eventually, the world took him from me, as it does with everything you treasure most in life. They said he was thrown overboard during a storm. That he went peacefully, but I knew it was a lie even then. I bounced from foster home to foster home, never feeling like I belonged anywhere. My adolescence was spent in anger and grief. Nobody knew how to reach me, and I did my best to stay that way. When I turned 21, I returned to the fishing town where I spent most of my childhood. I remember smiling fondly as I stepped foot near the docks, my most treasured memories flooding back inside me. I visited the local pub to get a drink. It was filled with merry fishermen, talking about the good old days and venting about their marital problems. I was content to stay as a fly on the wall, until I heard them mention my father by name. My heart stopped. I drowned out the rest of the noise as I listened intently to their conversation. They mentioned that his boat was attacked by a giant whale, a whale the size of an island. They called it mazagarth. I walked right over to their table and demanded to know where I could find it. They looked horrified when they recognized who I was. They told me to forget it and for me to move on with my life. They told me that's what my father would have wanted. I told them a dead man could not want for anything because he was dead. Later, I was able to corner one of the fishermen heading home. He exhaled sharply before giving up the beast's coordinates. I armed myself with rifles and harpoons and rented the fastest boat I could find. 2 days later, I journeyed to the coordinates to find the beast that killed my father. The water was eerily still, as if it was expecting me. I nervously drew my breath as I dropped the anchor into the sea, unwilling to turn back. Not before I killed this mazagarth. The rest is a blur. I remember stumbling and falling on my back when the beast emerged. It was unimaginably massive. Its emerald eyes stared back in mine and the anger that I held for years erupted. I grabbed my rifle and unloaded into the beast, but it remained unflinching. I flung harpoons at its hide one after the other, but it merely bounced back into the water like rain droplets. I huffed and puffed as I glared at the giant whale, waiting for it to consume me like it did my father. But it just submerged back into the water with a look of boredom. I remember falling to my knees and crying afterwards. Nothing I did meant anything to it, and it completely devastated me. For years, I sailed back to the same exact location, but it never appeared again, refusing to give me the closure I yearned for. Now I'm 73 years old. I have 6 grandchildren. Looking back, I now believe that the beast was showing mercy. I'm not sure why, but I believe my father's spirit was able to quell its anger before it could harm me. At least, that's what I choose to believe after so many years of obsession had left me with so little time for my own family. Treasure your time with them because you can't get it back no matter how much you beg. I'm Susan Mortimer Finley and this has been another episode of Animal Facts. Stay tuned for more factual animal facts. Have a wonderful animal day.